Hey, I'm Emma Garlett and welcome to Paint It Blak. It's that time of year again when the Change the Day of Australia Day debate heats up. Today, I'm looking at the facts. January 26 marks the arrival of the First Fleet in Australia and the start of many atrocities committed against Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. And from that moment, the extermination of Aboriginal people began. It was the arrival of generations of genocide. Some people may feel triggered by this, but it is the truth. It was the start of the massacres, planned oppression, and the systemic exclusion of First Nations people on their own land. January 26 is not a date to celebrate. It is a date of mourning. Using this date on which we celebrate the freedom and joy of being Australian is a continual oppression of First Peoples. It's ignoring the truth. January 26 started the murders of Aboriginal people, of atrocities, the rape of First Nations women. It's a celebration of the stolen generations of segregation, of control over Aboriginal people, and breaches of our human rights. Any person with common sense would see the need to change the date. And to make matters even worse, did you know the establishment of Australia was based on a lie? When the British arrived in Australia, the land was declared terra nullius, meaning land belonging to no one. Hello? This was a blatant lie, and traditional owners went to court to prove it. The High Court overturned the legal fiction of terra nullius in the Mabo High Court decision in 1992. This recognised the land was inhabited by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people all along, tens of thousands of years before those 11 ships entered Sydney Cove on January 26. So why are we continuing to celebrate the anniversary as a benign arrival instead of recognising it for the invasion that it truly was? And why do we continue to celebrate the beginning of genocide, the most serious of crimes? This date must change. It's not much to ask, just a simple shuffle on the calendar. But some would prefer to continue to oppress First Nations people by celebrating their dispossession, celebrating the ravaging of their land for economic gain at the expense of Aboriginal lives. Every year we have this argument. Every year we see the same assortment of headlines and contrasting opinion pieces. Companies announce their support of a change in the name of inclusion. Then they backtrack, pressured by the noisy minority into cowardice. It is infuriating. My whole life, I've watched as my people are kicked and trodden on, and our respectful request for a date that includes us is ignored and ridiculed. It is so upsetting. As soon as the New Year's Eve fireworks fall silent, it's game on again. It's infuriating. Ironically, it's this hurtful and damaging debate that brings the most airtime to First Nations people and issues. We're forced to come forward to defend our request for a new date, to justify why we should be included in the celebration of Australia's nationhood. It's exhausting. Our elected leaders can put an end to the merry-go-round. They have the power to make the change and leave a positive legacy. But some don't want to. This week, Bradley Woods, the chair of the WA Australia Day Council, penned an opinion piece in the West Australian saying he wanted to keep the date of Australia Day, but change the meaning. He said, "Instead of changing the date, we should transform its meaning into one of unity, reflection, and celebration. By embracing this day, we can honour our history, confront our hard truths, and work together towards a brighter, more inclusive future." No, this is not what we should do. Changing the meaning will not change the truth. Why waste an opportunity to change the date? I was also offended when he quoted Noongar elder Robert Isaacs to justify his point, taking it out of context. You cannot celebrate on a date of invasion, and suggesting this is so insensitive and not understanding the reality of the impact of the date. Since my column was published this week, I've had so much support from the community to change the date, with the former Premier writing to express his support. The people want change. Celebrating Australia Day on January 26 shuts Indigenous Australians out. It's not what this country should be about. Celebrating genocide is not what this country is about. Changing the date needs to go to the top of the agenda, and Bradley Woods need to come to the table to support this change. Choosing a new date for us all to celebrate is more than a symbolic action. It would be an act of peace, inclusion, and respect. Thanks for watching Paint It Blak with me, Emma Garlett. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode.